No idea what kind of speeds out of a hole, but fast. Should be really fast.
Old small block out, new big block going in.
Hey, we're here today at the GM Performance Parts Engine Build Center. We thought it'd be really cool to show the students that are building our summer school Chevelle just where the powertrain's coming from.
It's a model of engine that first hit the streets back in 2003, and depending on where you shop, you can find one anywhere from $12,000 to $16,000. The power is worth the price.
So when you hit the gas, you're gonna know it.
Okay, first step in building an engine, we got to gauge all the components, make sure everything's interchangeable to see how the crank will fit in there.
You know, it's gonna be there. It's just it's a beautiful piece. To go in that Chevelle, it'd be tremendous.
Well, now that everything seems to fit okay in here, we're gonna go ahead and start assembling everything. Start off right now.
Believe it or not, GM can make you a bigger one if you want it.
You can get an A620, which is 9-to-1 compression, or if you want the big bad one, that's going to cost you a little bit of money in fuel, that would be our 720 horse, which is 12-to-1 compression. And that one's all about racing.
Back at the school, the interior comes out.
The car was used primarily for marketing. It was really a show vehicle before it became an engineering car, which is kind of backwards. But that's why some of the things are a little rough around the edges.
And as the top is popped at school, there's a big piece going in at GM.
I'm going to install the crankshaft.
My favorite thing about the car right now is the engine. This is so awesome. Everything is going to just fly.
No laughing, or I'm coming down there with fisticuffs. Katie's really serious when it comes to, choosing the automotive profession. She's been here for just over a year. I mean, that's all she does is spend her time here day in and day out. She's actually quit a job or two in the past to actually stay enrolled full time. She's kind of just a permanent fixture at Washtenaw here.
Her dad is a mechanic and her mom works for General Motors.
He's just looking for an excuse. Always like two wheels. They're fun. They're so much fun. You can go fast. Oh yes, you can go fast.
With only 3 months to pull off this build, fast is the name of the game.
I think that was awesome that GM could do this for us. They've given us opportunities that many people don't get for their whole lives,
That's why this team gives it all they've got, rising to the level of the gear going in thanks to GM.
Now it's time to torque. Instead of using standard click type wrenches, we have a torque machine here. It's way more accurate, gives you a torque reading and the angle that it's torqued at.
And now for some real moving parts.
We can now install all the pistons. Go ahead and turn this around here.
This 572 is one of the largest engines GM builds. It's going to make the school's project into one of the fastest 1970 Chevelles in existence.
Okay, now we have all the pistons in place. It's time to put on the heads.
It's going into a show car that will have over 600 horses under its reworked hood.
Okay, these are the 12-to-1 heads. They have larger intake runners.
Parts meet up with parts. And while precision work goes on here, the team back at school makes quick headway with the disassembly. It's a pace not lost on Bill.
Well, I think we have a small miracle here, The guys really got on this thing. I'm just so impressed the way that Gary's crew here has performed today. We accomplished basically what it'd take most of us a month to do in about an afternoon.
I don't know what would make this team work well together. We just do.
We pretty much can work as a team. There's no better way to get it done.
I think this team was selected because we work well together.
The team is awesome. We all get along super well.
I think everybody works really good together.
Take all the strong points and make it work, so.
I don't really get worried, but I have to be on a build like this. But
You know, I'd put everything on it that we get it done. I mean, we've never failed, and this isn't going to be the first one, especially with the stakes being as high as they are. I mean, we'll get it done. It'll be perfect. You know, we're really worried about, we don't want it to look just good on camera. We want it to drive safe, just be a monster when you're behind the wheel and look good. So, I mean, we have a couple big things that we have to do, but, you know, no problems, no worries. We'll get it done.
That's also the attitude at GM's engine shop.
Got a really unique look to it, so whenever you pop the hood and show off the engine, you know, people automatically know what it is.
The 572, with the rear end gearing ratio that we have, is going to be a perfect car to look great and run excellent.
As the engine comes together, the Chevelle comes apart, and soon these elements will unite in the same shop. Eight students, one Chevelle, and 100 days to make the car mind-blowing for this year's SEMA show. It's happening at Washtenaw Community College, where a team of young builders are taking a Chevy and reinventing it into something radical. Now, the project is in pieces at the school as the new engine is built at GM. Gary is in charge of the school side of the ride.
Right now we have the build broken into two different sections. We have a bare frame sitting here and we have a body sitting over and ready to get reprimed. Our big goal today is to build it up and have a rolling chassis. And supposedly we're going to have our 572 drop.
The engine now being completed at GM.
Okay, that's all there's left to do as far as this goes. Now it's time to cold test it, see how everything went together, and take it from there.
The cold test will check the moving parts before it goes to a dyno.
Right now we're getting ready. We're going to put this in the cold test. We're going to spin it up. We're going to check a few things on it before they go out the door.
You know, we're stepping up the power level in this engine. Back when it was produced in 1970, it had a very anemic 305, less than 200 horsepower. And today we're putting a 572 with 620, so we're in effect tripling the horsepower level with this upgrade that we're putting in the summer school Chevelle.
That's it. Done deal.
The clock is ticking.
It's kind of a kamikaze run. It's really something that a professional shop would take at least a year, maybe more. I mean, I like to beat the guts out of them. I like, a car that looks good, but I want to, burn the tires and do, smoky burnouts and donuts and all that stuff too. Hey, we need some weight over here. Yeah, put the 50-pound kid up front. Why don't you? It's just, another day at work.
It's the mixture of an old car and young builders that has many intrigued with this project.
I think the car overall, we're all young guys building this car, and I don't think there's really been a car like this that has been able to get this much media that's been built by young kids, and we're all putting our, kind of the new age with an old school effect on this car. Gary's young, but he knows he's been raised around cars and he knows old school, and so we're able to get that new age kind of, for lack of better words, tuner, but yet that old school look at the same time, that old muscle car look.
With this much new gear, some are wondering just how well the pieces will work together once the car is moving down the road.
No problems yet. The suspension setup is it's phenomenal. I've never seen it before in my life, so I've seen all the components, but I've never seen them in such, a tight-knit package where it just, it screams, that it's just gonna have such handling capabilities, almost like a newer car or on par with a newer car. And just the overall look, the stance, I think it's just gonna be, a one-off. I don't think people are gonna forget about this car.
All right, well, this cross member was originated for this car, but the trans that we're using was originated for a 99 and up Chevy full-size pickup. So what we're gonna have to do is make these cuts here so that the trans mount will mount onto this cross member.